Right, I'd like to welcome onto the podcast this week a fan from far away. He might not sound like he's far away because he's got a very, very familiar accent, but I'd like to welcome all the way from Melbourne, Australia, Mr. Craig Fillingham. How are you doing, Craig?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I like that little delay then, as though we were waiting for the satellite as well. Yeah. Yeah, we're not talking via satellite. Well, I think we might be actually. It's Skype. Does Skype run off the satellites? Yeah. So that might be it. It might be the satellite waiting for position with a slight delay. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Craig, you don't have a broad Aussie accent. You're not saying good day, mate. What's your favourite colour? Blue? There's none of that coming from you.
There's not, no. I've lived here. I've lived here twice now. This is my second time. I lived here like 2.5 years now, and it's not. I'm not determined, but I'm quite. I think my accent's quite important.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean, yeah.
You want to keep your identity, shall we say?
Yeah, it is, and I also think that at my age, I'm 45. It's difficult to lose it, but I've definitely tempered it down a bit because you have no idea what I'm saying at work.
No.
I really got.
Well, talking about no idea of what you're saying. Obviously, you're on the show because you're a Latics fan, and the first thing I'd like to ask is, how are the Latics received over in Australia? What do they know about us?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because I've lived here a couple of times. When I first lived here, 2007, which is what, going back 8 years, when we were just like getting in the Premier League. I lived in North Queensland, and if anybody knows Australia at all, North Queensland is really deep, darkest rugby league territory. And I think the Warriors now have a player playing for him who comes from North Queensland. I think his name is Matty Bowen, I think. And when I lived up there, he was like, him and Jonathan Thurston were the biggest rugby league players in country. Anyway, the point being is that when I was up there and I was living in Townsville, I'm a nurse, I'm a children's nurse, and the kids would say, "Oh, where are you from?" Because my accent's a bit unusual.
Yeah. And
so I'd say, "Oh, from Wigan or Manchester." And when I say Wigan, they'd say, "Oh, Wigan, yeah, MLSK, oh, Jewel, no, I ain't." And they never, ever met. This is deepest, darkest, but in rugby league territory. So I'd say, "Well, Wigan Warriors." No, never heard of them. It was always SK or Kamara or Paul Jewell. You know, and anyone who's been in Australia will realise that North Queensland is
fantastic.
It's like Liam, real big, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's going back then. Now in Melbourne, which is a much more sophisticated city. Yeah, anybody who asks you where you're from, and you'll say, I used to say Manchester because it's a bit more generic.
Yeah.
But after a while, you realise that people know Wigan, and they know Wigan through Latics.
Right.
You know what I mean? They say, "Oh, we've got Athletic, yeah, won FA Cup and Premier League and all that kind of stuff."
That's brilliant.
So Latics is, so Wigan is known through Latics, really. Yeah.
Right. So obviously, Australia, I know through connections that it's a massive, massive sporting nation. They love the sports, and they've got the football started up in Australia as well. They've got the National League going. But what about the Premier League and the football? I should assume that, with you saying the kids knew about Esky and Kamara and Jewell, etc., that it would have been televised quite predominantly back in the time we were in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, it's much easier to watch the Premier League here than it is in Wigan. Do you know what I mean? I can press my red button on a Saturday night at 12 o'clock or whatever, midnight, and every single game's on. Do you know what I mean? Every single Premier League game's on, and it's now like 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, and I can just tell you before United's replay is on against Newcastle, 0-0. So it's so easy. Premier League is the most watched sport televised in Australia. They have. I live in Victoria, and AFL is the king, really, and in New South Wales and Queensland Rugby League is the king. Individually, if you look at Victoria's viewing figures, AFL's the biggest. Queensland Rugby League's the biggest. But all over the country, the Premier League has the most viewers of anybody, really.
Right.
It's massive. It's in art. Do you know what I mean? And City were here. City and Real Madrid played in MCG only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, before the season started over there.
Yeah.
There were 110,000 watching it. I mean, it's massive. No, it's football is enormous.
Right.
It's
So-
just yeah.
So of course you've got all the coverage of the Premier League and all the rest of it, and you moved over 2 years ago, and you're rubbing your hands thinking I'll be able to get the Latics, and so you're now faced with the difficulty of the team that you've supported. I mean, you supported the Latics a while, have you? Since you was a lad. Yeah.
My first game, Barry, it were Sheffield Wednesday in FA Cup 1977 or 8.
Yeah, Maurice Whittle.
You know what I mean?
Maurice Whittle scored from the free kick. Yeah.
Absolutely. Went in nets and all that. Jackie Shelton, the manager. That was our first game, so
Right.
that was non-league, wasn't it?
It was.
And then they got in league 6 months after that, didn't they?
Yeah, they
so
did.
I've been there a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you'd only been a young un then, and you're thinking when you're in Australia, you'll be able to keep that tie together with the club and be able to watch the games. And unfortunately, we've got relegated. So how do you keep up to date with stuff now? Is it difficult?
It's not difficult, but it's frustrating.
Right.
When they're in Premier League, you were a piece. Like I say, you press your red button, you could watch it. As long as you had the stamina to stay up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you could do it. But nah, it's just you can't watch them. It's just either you get Latics player on and you pay your subscription to Latics player and you listen to Neil Rimmer and all them in the middle of the night, or you just keep pressing refresh on your BBC website, and obviously your friends text you and whatnot. But it's not difficult. It's just, you're just much more detached from it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just it's much more of a kind of, what's the word? It's much more of a commitment, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't passively do it. You can't. In Wigan, you could put radio on. It was on in background. You could do it, and you didn't have to think about it. But here, it's a conscious decision to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is, and kind of do it. And I do. You know what I mean? When they're playing in midweek and it's like kicks off at 8 o'clock, that's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for me. So I have to get up and do it. So you can do it. It's just difficult to do.
Right. Okay.
And I always say that. It's the one thing I do miss. I used to love watching it. I used to love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I just could transport myself back there for the game, and then soon back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, yes. So it is a commitment for yourself. I understand that, and it's quite. I thought it would be even more difficult. And I understand the frustration because although the commentary might paint a mental picture, but you're not actually seeing the stuff on the pitch, and you're always relying on somebody else's view of a game, aren't you, rather than your own, what you pick up yourself from watching off the ball movement, etc., and stuff like that.
You were absolutely, but then I've got my friends who've been watching Latics as long as I have for 48 years nearly. And so and if they say it's crap, then you know it's crap.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? If they played well, so you can get the kind of feel of it from that. But last year when we had a last manager take over, Malcolm Mackay, it's difficult to kind of understand just what the emotion of that decision, and then of the consequence of that decision. I'm sat here in Melbourne thinking what a stupid decision that is.
Yeah.
But not be able to vent it to anybody, and then not getting them feeling to come back. So that's frustrating. You you know how you're feeling, but you can't have that conversation with somebody who knows how you're feeling.
Yeah, listen, Craig, let me just say, it was very frustrating sat in Wigan, never mind Melbourne, when Malky Mackay was appointed. I think the 99% of the people, the Latics fans, was against it from the start, you know, so... right, anyway...
Yeah,
I was going to say, let's move on to this season then. Obviously we've got rid of Mackay, and we've got an absolutely brand new team, and we've got a new manager in charge, and we've even got a new chairman. I've seen them play. I've seen every game by the Gillingham game, because it was a bit too far. Believe it or not, I suffer from arthritis in my knee, so I can't travel too far because my leg stiffens up. I've been hoping that it would spread. Well, I wanted it to spread further up, but we're not getting into that at the moment. That's for an off-the-air discussion. But obviously, I didn't go to the Gillingham game. But what I've seen of us so far, I think we're looking good in patches. Wednesday night against Scunthorpe was absolutely brilliant. But that's just my opinion. I mean, what's your take on it all so far?
Well, it's difficult because, like I say, I just get everything second hand or even third hand, and you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. You look at the Bartle website, your website, it seems to be that there's north and south, isn't there? There's very little in between.
No,
so people either love what's happening or hate what's happening, and there's very little in between.
I think if you look at any of the websites and even the Facebook and the Twitter, it's polarised, isn't it? It seems to be polarised.
No, it is, and I was just using that. Was
yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah.
You know, and people who tap into a forum or whatever aren't going to say, yeah, it was all right, because why would they? There's no point tapping that in.
No.
You've either got a strong opinion one way or the other, absolutely. But then you just, like I said, I've got my friends and stuff, and I think that if ever is being absolutely honest, I think the most optimistic people are hoping for kind of a playoff kind of place. The most pessimistic are hoping for bottom half, and the most realistic are hoping for kind of mid-table. And I think that's where we started so far. Is the most realistic is we're probably I would really hope for really mid-table top 10.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think anybody who's saying anything outside of that are being kind of extreme. Do you know what I mean? And I think brand new team, brand new manager, brand new chairman. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we've got a bit of money, but that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It just means that you got to spend it proper.
Yeah. Well,
and we don't. We have. Do you know what I mean?
Two of the clubs with the lowest budgets in at the moment, first and second, and we've got Fleetwood, who's got probably the lowest budget in the division, taking away Blackpool, of course, who I don't know what sort of budget they've got, but Fleetwood are pushing, for the playoffs places. I mean, we're only 3 or 4 games in, though, aren't we, at the moment?
I think, and you've also, and something like Fleetwood, because they've got no money, or very little money, they've probably got a very settled squad, haven't they? And so what they had last year is what they got this year. They probably had a couple of plays to it.
Yeah.
And so they can kick on from where they went last year. Do you know what I mean? And so they've got that kind of momentum, I suppose, or that consistency. Well, someone like Latics, who, in comparison, are awash with money at the moment, can change everything. That kind of changes things. I remember when Latics went up from Championship to Premier League, and we still had players from League One, League we're in now, like Gary Teal and all them.
Yeah.
And we were amazing.
Well,
you know what I mean? And it's that consistency that helps you kind of go on. And so like people like Fleetwood can go. Now, I don't think they can't sustain it because they can't add to it. But initially, it's kind of it gives them a kind of basis to go off.
Right. Without wanting to put words in your mouth, but listening to what you're saying about you feeling that we're going to be mid-table this season due to the influx of players, the new team, etc., and that settled team seem to produce. What would you do? I mean, the long-term prospects of the side. Then, would you be looking at next season perhaps to throw in a promotion push rather than this one?
I don't know. I think my kind of view is much more pragmatic than that. I think my view is that the last 10 years, or whatever it was, when we had our unbelievable kind of phase, Premier League, FA Cup, Carling Cup, all that kind of stuff, I think that is, you've got to kind of take that in context. And I think we're probably, as a club, we're probably, Championship and League One is probably, I won't say where we should be, but it's where we're probably going to be. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, this season, next season, we're probably going to give it a go. If we don't give it a go this season, next season, it's probably not going to happen for a long time.
Right.
Because we're then amongst everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's this season, next season, when we've got the money and we've got the kind of drive and ambition. I think after that, I think we're going back to where we were 10, 15 years ago, where we were kind of hopefuls, but probably not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, it does. But I mean, I don't know if I don't 100% agree with you though. I think, but I do know where you're coming from. I mean, when we talk about Fleetwood and we look at Crewe and we look at some of the lesser teams, shall we say, in the league, without being disrespectful to them, I still think at the start of each campaign, at the start of each season, the management and the players and the boardroom of those clubs are hopeful, optimistic of putting in some kind of promotion push. Now we've seen Bournemouth, a little club similar to the Latics, an hour rise. They've gone up, and I know what you're saying about keeping the teams together. Look at Bournemouth's back four against Liverpool. They all played in League One with Bournemouth, and I think that's quite an important thing to bear in mind as well. But I always think you've got to have the drive within the. I know you're not saying we've not got it, and I know you're being like you say, you're being pragmatic, but I still think I'm very optimistic. I'm the most optimistic person I think you're ever likely to meet. I think if I was a supporter of Boreham Wood, for example, I'll just pull them out of the air, I'd still other ambitions of us reaching the Premier League. That's it's the dream. It's the dream.
Absolutely, and I think you probably got me a little bit wrong. I'm not saying we can't do it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, our last 10 years was unbelievable.
It was living the dream. Living the dream.
Absolutely. Beyond the dream, weren't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember I came to Australia on the weekend. We got on the semi-final of the FA Cup. We played Millwall, and then I flew like that night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Australia. And I remember thinking, what the hell? I support this team now for 40 years, and I'm going to miss the FA Cup final. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
but you know what I mean? I'm watching it middle of the night in some kind of shitty hotel in Australia on my own. You know what I mean? And anyway, but I think what I'm saying but that was the peak ever. We're back to now what the reality is, which is. You know what I mean? And it is, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a rubbish thing. It's
no.
We've gone back down.
Yeah.
But I think we've gone back down. We're now. And I remember when Latics were first in fourth division, we were playing Portsmouth, and Portsmouth were massive. You know what I mean? They were the biggest team, and they've got loads of fans and all that kind of stuff. We're now Portsmouth of that, or we're now Sheffield United. When we got promoted to third division, played Sheffield United first game of the season. We're now that Sheffield United. We're the biggest team in that division.
Yeah.
And so we have made loads of progress. You know what I mean? But we have no right to be in the Premier League, and we've no kind of.
No. We've no right at all. And I think some people believe that we have got a right, and I don't know where they get this belief from. If I'm being honest, I think that's why sometimes you get the polarised divisions on the media, on social media, and that's why people come out with some ludicrous and crazy statements. I was reading yesterday on some Facebook pages about the fact that Corwell should be sacked and we should bring Paul Jewell back. Now, for me, that is the most ridiculous suggestion I've ever heard. Paul Jewell should come nowhere near that football club. He's had his time. He was absolutely magnificent, and he's a god to me, Paul Jewell, but there is no way would I want him anywhere near the football club again. His time's been and gone.
No, you're right. 12 months ago, before Malcolm McCow was appointed, I'd have had him. You know what I mean? But I know exactly what you're saying. time's moved on. It's a different time. You're right.
Yeah.
But I think sacking Cardwell now is people have got illusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
Which we're not a grand team. We're a League One team who were kind of trying to slug it out to get promoted.
No.
I think that's brilliant. And that's brilliant. That's brilliant. You know what I mean?
But I don't think Colwell's in any danger of getting sacked, if I'm being honest. They're giving him time. They told him. I know Sharpie came out with a statement, let's smash the league. And people say he shouldn't have said that. But I disagree with them, really, because I'd sooner my chairman speak like a supporter and say, I want us, like I've said, I want us to win the league, I want us back in the Premier League. That's what I don't want our chairman to be, well, yeah, let's sort of for mid-table this season and see how it goes. I don't want to hear that. What confidence?
I've been critical of the let's smash it, let's get to win. I've been critical of that, not because of what he was saying, the way he said it. I think it's just inexperience and naivety. I think, and that's because I'm not going to patronise him for a second.
Craig, do you not think?
If he stood there and said, "What do you want to do this season?" He was obviously asked, "What's your ambition this season?"
Oh no, he weren't asked. He weren't asked. He said it. He stood up and said it.
Oh well, there you go.
Do you not think it's?
He should have said, "I want to get promoted. I want to score loads of goals." That's enough.
He did. Well, he said, I'm going to bring you a 20-goal a season striker in. Now, this was June the 29th. He said he's lined up, and it was Will Grigg. So we was on with that deal back then. 29th of June, and we signed him, 3 or 4 weeks later. But do you not think it's refreshing that a chairman is young, is vibrant, he says the wrong things, he speaks like a supporter, instead of some stuffy, old guy who's just mumbling on, and I might be thinking of Dave Whelan here, or you've got some other guy who's just in it for his ego, or you've got some foreigners just pumping. Is he not a little bit refreshing?
No, I think I'd rather have the bloke who says I'd rather have what he said, smash it and all that kind of stuff, than like a very conservative kind of yes, let's consider what's happening. Yeah, absolutely, the enthusiasm and all and the passion. Yeah, absolutely.
But then, I'll just stop you again. But then, do you not think it's not his fault, but the people who's taking him on literally on his word? You know, the fans then who jumping on it on social media. Do you think it's them who's not quite grasping what he's saying?
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying, but then it's also set him up for that. He's setting himself up for that, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's brilliant.
There's idiots everywhere. Just I'll type something on your website title, and I won't put a comma in that place, and the grammar police come out to rip it apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think those same bloody idiots, morons, whatever you want to call them, they'll just latch onto anything like that, and it's whether it tempers that for the lowest common denominator, or he thinks, balls to it, I'm just going to say what I want, and I hope he continues to say what he wants, rather than go to the lowest common denominator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what he did, what it did for me, I was like a balloon, what had been slowly let down last season, like the air's coming out of me. I know I lost weight, and that might have been something else to do, but I did. And I was deflating, and I was very deflated when I went to that evening. And that evening instilled in me a lot of optimism for the coming season. The talk was very positive. They were saying the things that I wanted to hear as a supporter. It was brilliant, and it did. It enthused everybody in that room.
Which is brilliant, Barry. But was it what you've seen so far this season? Was it reality?
Well, for me it was, because although I believe that squad is good enough to challenge for automatic, it is. The problem we've got is it's a brand new squad, and I don't care what people say. The professional footballers they should be able to click straight away. That's total rubbish. It takes time, and I knew that, and I knew we'd take time. But I think we'll grow into this season as long as we're in touch. Coming out of Christmas period, coming out of the festive period, I think we're in with the chance of still pushing on for playoffs, and depending how far the top two are away, I don't know, but I still think we'll have the chance. And I've seen in games patterns of play, passages of play, how good we can be. And Scunthorpe the other night, we destroyed it. We could have won that game 5 or 6-0. No exaggeration.
No, I saw that game, and the highlights are obviously very distorted because it's Latics are packaging it. But
yeah,
the goals it scored were obviously the penalty, but the second and third goal were brilliant. You know what I mean, they were brilliant goals.
Well, Davis missed it. We're very unlucky with a curling effort. Michael Jacobs hit the crossbar. David Perkins should have poked it into the bottom corner. It just went wide. Griggs' goal, well, on another day that wouldn't have been disallowed for a nudge. It would have been allowed, you know. And it could have really been 5 or 6. And
you're right, and I think, and when they played in midweek, they played well in midweek. And I think sorry, the game before that they played well. I think what's good is they're not, apart from yesterday, they're not letting lots of goals in. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's, you know, that's good. That they're not vulnerable at the back anymore. Well, they were yesterday, but they're not as vulnerable at the back anymore. And then you can do that. And Greg will score goals. He will.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to score 20 or not is a different matter, but he's going to get more than his first share.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's where that, come February time, it's where we are at that point then.
Yeah.
If we're top half, 10th or whatever, 10th, 12th, 10th, absolutely. You know what I mean? I think we can go for it.
Yeah. Last season in League One, to look at, with up until Easter, the top 2 places were anybody. Although Bristol City were quite strong, second place was, you know, they kept falling down and going back up to the top spot, but all the way down to about 10th, there wasn't many points separating the clubs. You're talking 4 or 5 points separating, you know, the top 10 clubs. And at the bottom end, it was a very similar story. From the bottom side, from the relegation places up to about 11th, there was you probably 5 or 6 points separating the clubs. And on the last day, any team from about, I think there was about 6 or 7 teams could have got relegated on the last day of the season. And that's how close this league is. And if it replicates itself again this season, that's where I think, as the season goes on, we will get stronger. When we got promoted last time out of this division, the season before was a very poor season up until just after. Well, it was around about the March time we started coming good, and that again was Jewel's style of play, taking time to be embedded into the squad, and I think that is something you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's probably a very good point you've made. I think when Jewel first came, it was bloody awful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you know, no one can forget Canvey Island and all that kind of stuff, and Wrexham in Freight Rover, whatever they call it, Jan.
Yeah.
It were awful, and then it took time. But when it clicked, and it didn't take a lot to click. It took Ellington. That's basically that. It took Ellington and Bullard, and they didn't cost a load of money.
Well, Ellington was $1 million.
But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've spent that already, haven't we? We've spent that more than that already.
Yeah.
And I think so. We didn't take a lot of money a lot of effort to kind of click. When it clicked, that season we went up. That was unbelievable. That was probably the best season I've ever watched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was 100 points, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're right. I think it's a difficult league, but if you're half decent and you go on and you get some confidence behind you, you can do what the chairman said. You can smash it.
Yeah, but that team had to grow, didn't it? It wasn't click his fingers and it was up and running. It was something that took almost a year to settle down and grow. Obviously, we don't want this team to take a year. We're hoping it's going to happen a little bit sooner, but I still feel slightly optimistic about this season. Whether we'll do it or not is a different matter. You know, I'm not got my mortgage on this or anything, and I'll not be absolutely gutted and in floods of tears if we don't get promoted. You know, I'm sensible enough to know that, but I still have that optimism inside that I think that we can push on. I do, but it'll take time.
I can't see why this team shouldn't make a fist of it. because they should make, because we should make a fist today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The money we spent, the players we got in, we should be contending. Now, whether that is reality or not is a different thing. We should be, but absolutely, if we're not, let's hope that the people who, the more emotional people who support Latics temper it a bit.
Yeah.
Reality kicks in, and you just think, you know what? The reality is that we probably need another year in this league to get out of it, rather than. No, you look at last year. We made favourites go up. We should never have made. We should never have made favourites go up because we were no good.
Yeah, we were no good. Yeah, we were no good. I mean, the way we finished the season before was atrocious.
Oh, absolutely.
We won one.
I mean,
we won one of our last 9 games. What sort of form's that going into a new season? It isn't.
Absolutely not. And it was all clouded by the FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
Weren't you unlucky on penalties? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were not.
And we lost our 3 best players, our 3 most dangerous and creative players in Gomez, MacArthur, and John Beausejour, one of the most underrated players that played for us, John Beausejour.
I couldn't agree more. Do you know what I mean? And then we also lost an awful lot of bloody kind of oomph as well. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was kind of a lot of players were just kind of thinking, I've just won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of supporters were smoking the same cigar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do, and I think players like Callum McManaman and Sean Maloney have probably thought in their minds, I'll give it a year, and it's not worked. I want to get out of here. You know, they give us a year in that league, and
that year turned into about 4 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, nobody came in for him, did they? Or we couldn't agree a fee for him at the time. Sean Maloney was injured, got an injury, and he was upset about that. But anyway, I mean, all that's done and dusted, isn't it? So,
it is, and I honestly think that I'm very comfortable in this division. I don't want to be in this division, but I'm very comfortable in this division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think we've got potentially a good manager with the club with the right kind of. He's no mercenary. You know, he may have come as a bit of a mercenary, you know what I mean, from Celtic or whatever. But no, he's not. He's a good Latics bloke.
Yeah.
He's got Latics through himself, and he wants the right thing. He understands it. He's got players in who have got ambition and all that. I think everything's in place. We just need a bit of time.
Yeah.
A bit of patience, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I've said before now, and I think the supporters need to be. We can be critical, but we need to be a critical friend rather than just being critical.
A critical friend. That's a very good one. And I'm going to finish here, Craig, because you finished on a very good note, and I really do. And I'm going to finish with a song today as well. But we need a little time, and that's what we're going to finish with. And if you remember the beautiful South, a little bit of time, yeah, and that's what we're going to play out with this day, and it's a Sunday. So, for this podcast special, which is going out on a Sunday. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I can see you're 12,000 miles away, but you've still got that passion and that, you know, for the club and its best interests at heart, and you're following it on all, you know, especially on Vital Wigan, which I'll give a plug, obviously, because it's my website, but there we go. And it's a joy to read your postings on there as well, you know, from the other side of the planet. So on that note, Craig, I'm going to end the recording there, and it's been wonderful speaking, and I hope, you know, you get over, when you get over to see us, don't forget, give us a shout, and we'll meet up and what have you, and whatever. Alright.
And if you get over your plane phobia,
I might do a bike trip. I might cycle. I've been doing a lot of cycling recently. I wonder if I could cycle down to Oz. It'd be a bit.
Why not?
I'll give it a go. Right.
Alright, thanks, Barry.
So, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.